Good morning. Okay, so happy Friday. I love Fridays. I love Thursdays. I love Fridays because they're just like entering into the weekend, and I just love the weekend. Um, anyways, hopefully everybody's having a good day. This one today, it talks about, so it's called Get the Contaminants Out, and then the actual devotional is called Next Level Thinking. And I think a lot of us need to upgrade the way that we think because we don't even realize the patterns that run through our minds. I'm speaking for myself on this as well. I'll kind of relate a story to this in a minute, but hopefully this helps someone. So it says, get the contaminants out. And then it says, years ago, there was a small village in Africa that experienced a severe disease outbreak. City officials recruited experts to find the source of the quickly spreading problem. After running tests on the village's water, they found it was contaminated. Researchers traveled for days up the water stream that flowed into the village looking for the source of the problem. There were no problems visible on the surface, so divers were sent to look under the water. The divers found that a pig and her piglets had drowned and become wedged near the source of the stream. As soon as the pigs were removed, the water was completely fine. This principle is often true for our lives. We often allow contaminants such as bitterness, anger, and unforgiveness to take root in our hearts. Proverbs 4:23 says that everything we do flows from our hearts, so we must guard it. It is our source. If you're wondering why you are constantly negative, depressed, or angry, ask yourself if you have allowed any contaminants to pollute your stream. The book of Ruth tells us about a woman named Naomi. Naomi's husband and son dies, and a situation that overwhelmed her with grief. She began to allow grief she was experiencing to turn into bitterness. She told her people to no longer call her Naomi, which means joy, but to call her Mara, which means bitter. Bitterness became a part of Naomi's identity. Yes, Naomi had experienced loss, but that didn't mean she was never going to win again. Her life began to revolve around this loss she experienced instead of processing through grief and pain for a season and moving forward. What have you changed your name to? Victim, depressed, unlovable? And then you can kind of like answer that into any part. Maybe you're experiencing some other feeling, and then it says that's not who you are. Your name is victorious, free, and deeply loved by God. We don't downplay the hardships we go through, but God promises that there will be grace for every single season. No matter what you are facing, choose to lean into God's grace, and instead of allowing bitterness and hopelessness to take root, there is purpose for you waiting to be fulfilled. You wouldn't be alive unless God has something amazing up ahead for you. And I wanted to speak on that because I think that, and someone called me out the other day, or I guess it was like a couple weeks ago now, but I was like, I've told y'all many times before, and again, I'll repeat myself again and again for new people who hop on here, but last year I had experienced a depression that lasted about 3 months, and I had never experienced something that hard, I don't think, ever in my life. Like, as far as like depression goes, I had never really experienced depression like that, and it was scary. It was very lonely. It was very dark. It was a situation that I genuinely felt like I was not going to get out of, and so that's when I really dove deep into just reading the Bible, reading the devotionals every single day, because that was really all the hope that I could see. And it's funny that how that happens though, because during that time our team promoted to Triple Diamond and a lot of great things happened. So it's funny how God can use your darkness in those seasons. But anyways, so I went through that depression last year, okay, and it started in June, and this year I started like the beginning of June. I felt just like weird. I just felt icky. I just felt like, ugh. And I could not define it. I was like, I just feel sad. Like, I don't even know. Nothing is wrong in my life. There's absolutely nothing to complain about. I just feel sad. And so I started crawling back into that hole, and I told Morgan, and she's not on here, but she is someone that I always go to for guidance. Like, she's just like a mentor to me, just like I'm a mentor to some of you guys, or someone else is a mentor to y'all. And I went to her and I was just like, I'm feeling this way and I can't describe it. I don't know how to experience, like, say anything. I'm just depressed. And instantly, and these words I know that will like completely change my perspective. And I feel like she said things like that before, but not until then did it stick. But she was saying, why are you saying depressed? Like, why are you calling it depression? You're giving it a name when all it is just a feeling. It's just a season. It's not something that's defining you. And so for you to call it depression is given it a name, and it's given it a stronghold over you. And so in here, it's ask. And like not even a day, not even a full 24 hours after that, I was praying and I was like, God, can you please take me out of this? And I was just praying so heavily. I was like, I don't have to be depressed. I don't have to. There's nothing wrong. I'm grateful for everything. And I just sat there for a full day and wrote out all the things that I'm grateful for. And it was like a weight of the world was lifted off of my shoulders, and I haven't felt it since. And I've just been like happy go lucky. Like I've just been so excited. And so anyways, the point of that story is it says this principle is often true for our lives. We often allow contaminants such as bitterness, anger, unforgiveness to take root in our hearts. If you're wondering why you are constantly negative, depressed, angry, ask yourself if you allow those contaminants to pollute your stream. And then it says, what have you changed your name to? Victim, depressed, unlovable. And if I would have read this at the beginning of June, I would have been like, oh, you calling me out? Because what I define myself as depressed. And so it's saying that's not who you are, and your name is victorious, free, and deeply loved by God. And so I don't know if anybody's going through a dark season, and it's not even someone that has to be going through a dark season, okay? It could be someone that's just going through a season that's weird, a season that's changing. It's just changing, ever revolving. You and your spouse are changing up things. You're changing up places that you're living. You're changing new team members, new leaders. You're changing literally whatever it could be. You're changing jobs. It could be just a changing season. Okay. It doesn't have to be like sadness or depression. And maybe that is you. And you have to ask yourself, have you defined yourself so deeply in that you've lost all type of like vision for what God has for you in this season? We always say that we go through seasons for a reason, even if it's the darkest and lowest seasons of our life. It doesn't mean that God's not giving you grace through that season. I just told y'all last year when I was going through that deep depression, I promoted, okay? Weird enough, I promoted to triple diamond, which is the third highest rank in the company, okay? And so it was just, it's crazy that things happen like that. And he brought me some of the best people during that season. And it's just funny to see, like, now that you're out of it, you can see what he was blessing you through. And so even during that time, I did not stop doing my gratitudes every day, okay? And this is something I want to challenge you to do if you have not been doing gratitudes. And I talk about this all the time, but this is something I so deeply need you guys to do to understand that, like, it actually helps so much, is to write down the things that you're grateful for. And it does not have to be money related. It does not have to be business related. It does not have to be physically related. It can just be like, I woke up in the best mood today. Thank you so much, Jesus. I'm so excited. I wrote that in my affirmations and in my like gratitudes yesterday that I did. I do them daily. I don't tell y'all to do something and then not do it. I do it. Okay. And so it's just saying, like, basically, we don't like, God doesn't downplay the hardships that you go through in your life. He doesn't downplay that you feel like you haven't been able to pay rent for the past 4 months. Okay. He's not downplaying that you lost someone in your life. It's not that. It's just that sometimes we get so clouded in our own judgment of things that are happening that we define ourselves to that. And then we also see that there is no like light at the end of the tunnel, you know? And so hopping on these prayer Zooms, getting in the devotional, getting in the word, praying over your business, and just praying daily is going to get you through those things. And it's going to start giving you your like eye-opening to the things that you normally wouldn't see, of the things he's blessing you with. And not only that, but it's just going to give you a whole new perspective. And I want you guys to see that perspective. You don't have to be, how many times have you told yourself, oh, I'm just a single mom. I'm the single mom. I'm the single mom. I'm the struggling mom. Oh, I'm the one that goes through depression. I have seasonal depression. I go through that every single year. I go through that every single winter. You've already claimed that over yourself. So how do you expect God to fight that fight for you if you're just claiming something over yourself that you don't even know 100% is true? You might have just had a really bad season for 2 years, and then guess what? It doesn't mean it's going to continue for the next 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, okay? You have to let God in, and you have to let his light come through those situations, because if you're not trusting him through that, then how do you expect for you to see his goodness? The reasons why you continue to say, God, and I'm not saying anybody says this on here, but maybe you know a friend, or maybe you know someone who's like, well, God, why is God always punishing me? He's putting me through these things. No, that's not the case at all. Chances are you got so blinded by that one incident that happened in your life, or the 2 incidents or the 3 incidents, that you just claimed the victor, or you claimed the loss on that. And now he's like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to let you see the light. And you're like, nope, blocked off. You just close the door on that, you know? And so I could define so many things in my life of things that have not changed. I talk about my mom all the freaking time on here. Has she changed? No. And I've been praying for her for 14 years, but am I defining that to God's like goodness of what he can do? Absolutely not. Because I just know in my heart, I have this hope, and I just know that there are going to be chains lifted off of her. I know that there is. I just don't know when the breakthrough is going to come. Okay. And until then, I'm just going to keep praying. And that's literally all that you can do. And so many of y'all, and again, we talk about this all the time, but like, we're such a microwave society. I had a girl almost quit yesterday because she wasn't seeing the results that she wanted. And if you ask yourself the true questions, have you given it your all? Have you given it to God? Have you prayed over your business? Have you prayed over your situation? And you can check off all the marks and say, okay, maybe here, not really here. No, you still have so much work to do in your life. If you're sitting here saying, no, I actually pray every single day, I read my Bible every single day, I speak with God every single day, and I just give it over to him. If that's actually you, then okay, maybe we can talk about something else. But I honestly doubt that that is every single person on here, because guess what? That's me too. There are still so many things in life that I want to give to God, and then I'm like, no, I'll take over. I control it. I'm good. And then I realize at the end of the month that I'm like, okay, I said I was going to give it to you, but in reality, did I really give it to you? That was me last month. And then I had this breakthrough of just, I can't remember if it was last week or the beginning of the week before, where I was just sick of my own crap. You know, when you like finally just get fed up with yourself and you're like, if I could cuss on here, I would, but it's just kind of like BS, you know, it's kind of just like, what am I even doing anymore? That was me. I was like, why am I still sitting in the same position I've been in for 6 years and not giving God my full attention in business, not letting him truly do the magic, just me claiming that I'm trusting him. And then still at the end of the day, I'm going to bed praying, God, can you just help me with this? Can you just help me with this? Instead, I should be like, you know what? I'm going to work, and then I'm going to stand still and let you bless the rest, because that's what you've told me to do. You're going to bless anything that you want to bless. And then you're not going to bless anything that you don't want to bless, because you know it's good for me. And that's truly trusting God. And when I finally had that lifting moment, and I'd actually just read a devotional before this, and it was talking about how you and God are going to go through this continual fight over and over and over again until you finally realize that he's the one that can win the battle and not you alone. And it might take you a month, and it might take you 6 years, and it might take you 13 years. But as long as that's happening, he's going to continue to fight for you until you finally say, okay, God, I give it my all, and you actually mean it. And it said in the devotional, it said 6 years, and I've been in this business 6 years. Okay, you guys. And I was like, oh, you speaking to me. And I just feel like I finally released the feeling last week of letting go and letting God. And I preach to y'all all the time of letting this happen. And you have to go through your own battle. So like, I totally understand that sometimes when I say things, it's not going to come like to you immediately. I'm the same exact way. I don't know why we're like that, but it just happens. But in those moments you grow and learn anyways. But I was that person. And when it said 6 years in the devotional, I was like, God, you're calling me out right now. But the feeling on the other side of just like truly allowing him to work in his magic in the areas where you just know that you can't have control is the most rewarding, really relaxed, just blessed feeling that you could ever feel. And I want y'all to feel that. But you have to stop telling yourself and stop giving yourself like a name just because it's what you did in the past. Like, how many of y'all sit here and tell yourself like you're the same person that you were when you were a teenager? Nobody. I don't think anybody on here does. Like, if I was the same person I was as a teenager, I would throw up right now. Okay, I was disgusting. And I just like can't even imagine like the things that I did. I was just like, oh, you're so ratchet. Like, get out of here. So like, who actually tells themselves that you are the same person that you were as a teenager? Nobody. So stop defining yourself as what you did a year ago, and stop defining yourself as how you felt a year ago, or what happened in your life 2 years ago, or whatever might happen. Stop telling yourself and claiming to yourself that you are. Morgan talked about this one time too. If you have anxiety and you know you have anxiety, why do you constantly sit here and give like feed that energy? And anytime someone talks to you and they're like, hey, what's your name? Who are you? And you're like, I have anxiety. So you're saying that defines you. And it's just like, I was listening to a book the other day. They were saying like, if your job defines you, if someone, like so many people, they're like, hey, how are you? What's your name? Tell me a little bit about you. And you're like, oh, I'm Macy and I'm a business owner. Those are the first two words that come out of your mouth. So whatever you do defines you, you know, like whatever job you do defines you. And like, how many people do you meet that's a nurse or whatever? And they're like, oh, I'm so-and-so, I'm a nurse. No, you're so much more than that. If you did that, then you would have to be like, oh, I'm Macy, I'm depressed. I'm Macy, I'm anxiety. Oh, Macy, I don't believe that God can help me. All these different things. No, it just doesn't make sense to do that. So like sit here and stop claiming who you are over the situations that you can or cannot control, and don't sit here and claim that you're someone for the things that you've done in the past or that you haven't done in the past or the feelings that you've felt in the past or the feelings that you're feeling now. It's just a season, and learn to ask God what you want, what he wants you to do in the season, what you want to learn from the season. And I promise you, when you do, it's going to be a lot better, and it's going to be a lot easier, and it's going to release a lot of chains that have been holding you back for so long. And I want you guys to feel that. But so many of y'all say the same things over and over and over and over again. You're like, I'm just constantly hitting this wall of this feeling. And it's because you claim that you are sitting here letting things go and letting God have the situations at hand, but you have not once prayed over your situation, asking truly, God, whatever you want me to do, allow me to release it and just give it to you. You have not done that. You're trying to hold on so tightly. And he's like, hey, let go. Just let go a little bit. Just let go a little bit. And you're not letting go. You're not trusting him. And I know you're probably going to hear this about 10 more times before you actually do it. But if this can help in any way, shape, or form, kind of get the ball rolling on that, I would love to see that, because the feeling is just amazing. It's good. It's fun. It's you wake up in the morning and you're not stressed. You wake up in the morning and you're like, wow, I feel so calm and I'm just so grateful for the day. It's like you wake up and you instantly hear the birds chirping and you're like, it's gonna be a good day, and you wake up with excitement, and I want you guys to feel that. Y'all can go ahead and drop your prayer request below. I'm going to read this little thing that is it's like a very short devotional, but it's just from today. Don't really remember if it correlates with anything today, but this is just kind of a reminder. It says, let me show you my way for you this day. I guide you continually so you can relax and enjoy my presence in this present. Living well is both a discipline and an art. Concentrate on staying close to me, the divine artist. Discipline your thoughts to trust me as I work my ways in your life. Pray about everything, then lead outcomes to me. So instead of praying, saying, God, can you have this specific thing happen? Which there's nothing wrong with that. But instead say, God, the work that I'm going to do today, can you bless whatever you need to bless from that? Instead of saying, God, can you supply me with 50,000 volume right now and like today? And if it doesn't happen, I don't believe in you. Don't be so obsessed on the outcome. Pray about your efforts first. Pray over that, pray over those things. And it says, do not fear my will, for through it I accomplish what is best for you. Take a deep breath and dive into the depths of absolute trust in me. Underneath are the everlasting arms. So again, don't know if that's like anything someone needed to hear, but hopefully that helps. I'm going to stop this recording.